Broadcasting from Cincinnati, you're listening to the Ringside Reporter podcast. All the news from the world of boxing right here.
Well, I'm talking to you the way I want to talk to you.
Now, here's your host, Eric Lorda.
And we are live. Welcome to the Ringside Reporter Show, where we talk about the latest boxing news. If it's related to boxing, we'll talk about it here. My name is Eric Lorta, and I'm here with my co-host, Joe Habib. And we have a great show for you today. And as always, if you want to call in and ask questions, you can call in at 323-870-3857. And we'll be here till about 8 o'clock tonight. We got a little bit of news, Beeb. We can stretch this out.
Maybe able to stretch this one out. We got some hot topics tonight.
Yeah, maybe we stretch it out till what, 10, 11, somewhere around there, huh? Why not?
Make this an all-nighter.
That's right. We can go all night. Go all night here, baby.
That's all.
All right. Tonight, we're going to be talking about your boy, Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. The guy has been suspended indefinitely. We'll tell you why. And Beeb, Oscar De La Hoya has already been offered a title shot. How about that? Already. He's not even back. But he's been offered a title shot. We'll tell you with who, and we'll tell you if it'll happen. But first, we're going to get started with ESPN. Mikaela Mayer versus Helen Joseph, the first female main event for Top Rank, kind of. It was kind of, not exactly, but well, I'll explain it to you, man. Mikaela Mayer wins by unanimous decision over Helen Joseph by the scores of 99-91 and 190 twice. I don't know, Beeb, kind of a one-sided beatdown here. What were your thoughts on this?
Well, it's crazy because when I look at female fighters, I tend to kind of compare them to Katie Taylor and Clarissa Shields because they're kind of separated from the pack.
Yeah.
And the one thing I noticed with Clarissa Shields is she's so much faster and so much more explosive than everyone else. Katie Taylor is she's another one she's like a buzzsaw. She just so fluid with her combinations. So I tend to look at them as the gold standard right now. Maybe that's unfair of me to do so, but a lot of hype's been around Mayer. She fights at 130. She's kind of tall and long, so it's not out of the realm of possibility that she would move up to 135 and possibly be a title challenger at some point in her career against Katie Taylor. And I just watched her, and I saw some good things. I like how she's really good at gauging distance and spacing. She knows how to fight. She understands the dynamics of the sport. She has good technique, but she's not a lot of snap on her punches to me. She's not really explosive. There's nothing really to me dynamic about her. She's in a division where there really isn't much competition, with all due respect. And I guess you could say that for Clarissa Shields too, but she had a good opponent in Christina Hammer. Katie Taylor's got some good opponents as well. She's had some tough fights. But I just think if Mayer does eventually move up, I just can't see her beating the likes of a Pursoon or a Taylor, a Serrano. I just can't see her beating those types of fighters. But I really can't name anyone at 130 that is of note that I think would give her a serious challenge, right? So luckily, I think she's in a division where she'll stand out, obviously. And I hate to dump on her, but she looked solid, but she just, I don't know. I just don't see any standout qualities that makes me say this girl is an outstanding, great fighter. She's a decent fighter, not a bad fighter. But again, I'm looking at Clarissa Shields. I'm looking at Katie Taylor. I'm looking at the likes of those types of fighters, and I'm asking myself, who's going to be able to be up alongside them at some point? And I don't think Mayer's one of those fighters that's going to be up there with them. That's just my opinion. I don't know what your thoughts on Mayer are.
Wow.
All I know is she's being hyped very, 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 very aggressively. She's being hyped up. So they're really behind her. So I don't know.
Wow, Beeb just dumped all over her. That's crazy. That's messed up, man.
It's kind of attractive. I'll give her that. I mean, I don't want to, make it about looks or anything like that. She's very marketable. She's got the look. She talks well or whatever like that. But I don't know.
It's kind of attractive, I don't want to say anything. Yeah, all right.
Not as cute as my my honey dip Christina Hammer, but
it's very true. Very true.
I love Christina Hammer.
Very nice girl. Very nice girl, Christina Hammer. D-Style Boxing, thank you so much. He said Mayer is good. She can box. Yeah, well, she was in the Olympics. Of course she can box. But, can she box better than Katie Taylor? Can she box better than – does she have – I mean, can she really garner our attention? I don't know. I know this fight didn't garner my attention. That's for sure.
Well, here's the thing. Like, we're being told like she's like the next best thing since sliced bread. Did you get that? Did you get that impression?
Well, sure. Yeah. I mean, it's their girl. I mean, she's a house fighter. It's the main event, sort of, and, but I tell you what, let's talk about this for a minute because.
Am I being unfair here? Or?
No, not at all. Not at all. Because I mean, again, she, we see what we see. You know what I mean? I mean, we see what we see. She's not, when we saw Katie Taylor, you kind of look at her and say, yeah, she's the one.
She separates herself. She separates herself from the pack.
Yeah, I mean, she separates herself. So thank you, D-Style. D-Style says we're going to throw back with Beeb on Thursday.
Yeah, check out that video, man. Me and 97 Rough back in the day going at it.
All right, yeah.
It was hilarious, man. Go on D-Style's channel. That was a good video.
There it is. So the reason this was a main event was that Jamel Herring tested positive again for COVID. I don't know. Whatever. Stay inside. Wear a mask. I don't know what to tell you, Herring. Do your thing. Just stay quarantined. I don't know. Listen, if he tests positive for COVID, that should be like two months for him to get over it and everything like that. Whatever. Instead they're posting it, what do they post? Like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and then he's supposed to be back in the gym. Come on, man. Stop it.
You treat him like the guy had a DWI, man. You take him out of the game for 2 months. You're taking him out of the game for 2 months, Eric. Christ.
You stay inside. Wear a mask. Yeah, right. D-Style just said COVID is 2-0 versus Herring. COVID 2, Herring 0. That's right. You know what? And that's 100% right. Because, listen, instead of just delaying the fight for, 2 weeks, put him out for 2 months. Put him out for 2 months because this won't happen then. Then you're completely over it. Then he's not going to test positive again. All right. And I don't care what he says. The test was faulty, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Okay.
I think Fauci had something to do with it.
Yeah. Everybody's against Jamel Herring.
I think it's Fauci. I think it's Fauci's fault, man.
It's Fauci's fault? Start wearing a mask. Start quarantining yourself.
Fauci already lied about the masks. He already lied about the masks. He already lied about the masks. What else did he lie about? This is a setup.
Let me tell you about Beeb here. Beeb texts me at least 2 or 3 times a week at about 5, anywhere from 3 a.m. to 5 a.m. in the morning.
I'm thinking about this stuff. I can't sleep.
With conspiracy theories on coronavirus.
I can't sleep.
I mean, this is like clockwork, man.
Taking our livelihood from us. They're taking our livelihood from us.
Beeb is a big conspiracy theorist on this. I'm just saying, if he's got a positive test, lay him off for a couple of months. Lay him off for a month. Lay him off for 6 weeks. Something. But I mean, it is what it is. I mean, look, he dropped another positive COVID test. So then Top Rank promotes Mikaela Mayer to the main event and says, well, this is the first female main event ever, in Top Rank history, blah, blah, blah. All right. Well, kind of, because he didn't plan it and nobody would have planned this for a main event. There was no hype around it, no nothing. Remember when the UFC did their main event with Ronda Rousey? That was their first main event. She headlined everything. I mean, it was the first main event. They did it right. I mean, they put a lot of hype behind it, everything like that. This was done because your main guy fell out with COVID again. So it's kind of hard to get behind it. I'll be honest, man. It's you could say, what was the first female ever main event for Top Rank? And yeah, maybe it was, but it's tough. I don't know. It's a tough one for me to swallow. All right. On the undercard there, Clay Collard versus LT Nelson. I like Clay Collard a lot. Clay Collard wins by TKO in 2 rounds over LT Nelson. Easy for me to say. Collard knocked Nelson down 4 times in 2 rounds to get the win. Collard, let me tell you this, Beeb. I think that Collard is exactly what boxing needs right now. Nobody cares about his record. He's got 2 losses, 3 draws or something crazy like that, 8-2-3 or something crazy. Nobody cares about his record. He's just entertaining. They're just getting behind him. He's entertaining, man. And I hope they don't screw it up by putting him in there with, a champion or somebody like way above his skill level. Just let him ride. Let him ride. This is what people want to see. People want excitement. What are your thoughts on Clay Collard?
Must-see TV, baby.
Right?
He's been the most entertaining fighter on all of these cards. Because he's been in exciting fights, and they call him up, you ready? And he's ready to go. He's fighting like once a month now.
Yeah.
It's amazing. How can you complain about that guy?
Yeah. And he's beaten guys like really solid guys. Really solid guys.
He's a throwback.
He's very good. Do you think my fear is that instead of putting this guy on, getting this guy co-main status and everything like that, instead of keeping him on that undercard like that, giving him like co-main status, obviously still on the undercard, but I don't want them to like rush him and throw him in with like a hot prospect, somebody who's going to just go in there and run him over. Let him get some wins, let him get some fanfare, let him be in some exciting fights. This is what you need.
Well, he's got a couple upsets already under his belt, so
yeah,
maybe he's got that confidence, but I don't know.
Yeah. Well, look at Jorge Masvidal in the UFC. They were talking about this the other day. And when Masvidal fought, and they says, well, how can somebody care? How can they care about, a guy who's got like 13 losses? This is how. This is exactly how. He's built the right way. He's in exciting fights. You don't care if he wins or loses. You just want to see him fight because he can fight.
Yeah.
Almost like Arturo Gatti, when he fought. You didn't care if he won or lost. You just knew you got a fight on your hands. You knew he was going to have a fight. So,
and then it's like you said, you just match fighters accordingly. If both guys are on the same level, then a lot of times, both of them may not be world beaters, but because they're on the same level, they'll give you an entertaining fight.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the thing. You just want entertaining fights, and now you got a name guy. Now you got a name that's garnering attention with Collard. Now you got that name. So let's keep putting them up there.
Oh, yeah.
Keep putting them up there, man. Keep feeding them solid wins and, good fights,
Yeah.
All right. So this leads us to our train wreck of the week. So on Thursday, I believe this is on Thursday, D-Style Boxing says Gatti was the A-side versus pound-for-pound Mayweather. And no, I don't think so, buddy.
Well, from a monetary standpoint, he was, because he was Mayweather's fighting in his backyard, and a lot of the fans there were there for Gotti. And this was before Mayweather. This was before Mayweather was Money Mayweather, and before he had that pay-per-view with De La Hoya. So,
yeah, I still don't know. I think
he was the draw. He was the draw. He wasn't the better fighter, but he was the draw.
No.
Go back. Go back on and do the research on that fight. He was the draw.
Yeah, no, what I'm saying is there's no, he
was the draw. He wasn't the A side in terms of better fighter, but he was a draw.
Did he get more money in that fight?
A little bit, yeah.
Did he? I didn't think that. I thought Mayweather got more.
No, he got paid more. This was before. This was when Mayweather was with Top Rank, and he wasn't, like I said, he wasn't Money May. You know,
crazy, man. Because Mayweather just demolished that guy. I knew Mayweather was going to demolish that guy.
Everyone knew he was going to demolish him. But again, it was Gotti. Gotti had a name back then. Like, this is when Gotti was, everyone loved him because of the way he fought. Right. He was a handsome, he had that look. And, the fight was in Atlantic City. It was in New Jersey, where he's from, so.
Yeah, he went in there and cleaned him in New Jersey, man.
Yeah, he destroyed him.
Craziness, man. Just crazy. All right, so the train wreck of the week, Mariaga and Yap was actually canceled by the NSAC after Yap weighed in nearly 9 pounds over. The new main event was Felix Verdejo versus Will Madera. Beeb, 9 pounds. Should he have been allowed to fight?
Can I be honest with you?
Yeah.
If his opponent was okay with it, then they should let the fight go on. It's up to his opponent.
Correct me. I thought, and I don't know this for a fact, but I remember, was it Chael Sonnen was talking about this, and he said in the contracts, and I don't know if it goes for boxing or whatever, but he said in the contracts, once you make weight, that's it. Then the fight is complete. Then you've done everything that you needed to do for your contract. You know what I mean? This guy did this. His opponent made weight, but so where does he go? I mean, does he get paid? Does he not get paid? I mean, does he get something?
I wouldn't be able to answer that with 100% certainty.
I would hope
anything that I say would be pure speculation right now.
Speculation, yeah, exactly. I tell you what, I would hope.
I know the UFC, they pay the guy that made the weight.
Yeah, I would hope that they would have paid him, Mariaga, for making that weight.
But I will say this. It all depends what's in the contract. Because the contract could say you only get paid if the fight happens. And if the fight doesn't happen, but, is there a catch-22 in the contract where if the fight doesn't happen through no fault of your own and someone else's fault? I don't know. I cannot answer that question. I would think that it depends on the contract.
He did everything he was supposed to do. He did everything, you know what I mean? Again, he did everything he was supposed to do. That guy had no intention on coming in on weight. You don't come in 9 pounds over if you didn't have any intention of coming in on weight. You know what I mean? There's no way.
If you're asking me, should the guy that made weight and did what he was supposed to do, should he get paid? In my opinion, yeah.
Yeah.
But once again, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I don't know.
I don't know what's in the contract.
Yeah. I don't know what's going on. What's going on in the chat here? What's
Oh, Jason's back. The loser's back. Trump 2020, baby. Trump 2020. 4 more years, baby. You can't take it. You can't take it. You know the thing. You know the thing. He ain't winning. And the next president of the United States, Barack America.
He does. He floods our Twitter stream with like Trump stuff.
Oh yeah.
Oh, D-Style's not a fan. D-Style's not a fan of Trump, huh? Why? Why is D-Style not a fan of Trump?
I like Trump just because Jason hates him. I like Trump just because Jason hates him.
All right, Felix Verdejo now versus Will Madera. Verdejo looked really good. It was a first-round knockout. I don't know. Listen, man, a lot of people were saying Verdejo is back after this. I don't know if he's back or not, but it's definitely a good start for him to get back on the road anyway. I don't know. What can you really – I mean, he looked good, but what can you really tell from a first-round knockout, against, Will Madera?
Well, I have to say this. Verdejo is usually a slow starter. Takes some time to get warmed up. I like the fact that he just went in there and took care of business. It was impressive the way he just dismantled him. He mixed up his shots. He didn't get sloppy. Didn't go head hunting. He went to the body. I was impressed because I'm not used to seeing Verdejo do that in that type of fashion.
He looked good. Yeah, he looked good. Yeah, he looked good. But again, I mean, it's against Will Madera, and that's okay because that's what he was supposed to do to a Will Madera.
Yeah.
So, hey, let's talk about the undercard here. Let's talk about the fighter of the week, Beeb. Jared, the real big baby, Jared Anderson. You know where he's from?
I'm going to say he's from Ohio.
Titletown, baby. Come on. Toledo. He's from Titletown. Knocked out Hector Perez. Very durable guy in the first round. Took less than 90 seconds, Beeb, for Anderson to polish off Perez. Big baby Anderson is now 5-0 with 5 knockouts. Beeb, next champion of the world.
It's gonna take some time.
What are you talking about?
Let's pump the brakes. I know you get a little excited with these things.
How dare you? He's from Titletown. What are you talking about?
Well, there was a couple other fighters from Titletown that didn't,
Who? Ezra Charles? Aaron Pryor? Which ones?
Broner.
4-time champion.
Who was the other guy that just lost there a couple weeks ago?
Oh, who was that? I know who you're talking about, but I can't remember his name.
He's a Titletown guy.
Yeah. Yeah, we got a lot of them here.
We both picked him to win, and he lost.
Yeah, who was Sonny Fredrickson?
Sonny Fredrickson. I mean, that was another one.
He looked terrible, man. Terrible.
You convinced me he was going to win. I went out and fucking.
Well, that was dumb. I tell you what.
I went out and bet the house on him.
Jason's in there. Jason's in the chat says Ohio's a dump. It's a bad place. Son, you live in Georgia.
You live in Georgia
Georgia, son. Come on, man.
You live in Georgia where all that bullshit's been going on right now. Okay? You and that governor, your governor's fucking being what happened over there? The governor
sued
the mayor
because the mayors were saying that, hey, you have to wear masks. We want you to wear masks in Atlanta, everything. The governor turned around and sued him and says, no, we don't have any mask mandates around here. That guy is a moron.
He lives in a state where they still put up the Confederate flag. Okay? And he's going to make fun of other states.
Hands of Sanitizer says Broner is a 20-time champion. If you count the train wreck of the week belt, he's right. At least a 20-time champion. 100%. 100%. There it is.
Yeah, Sonny Fredrickson. What happened to him, man? You had me all hyped up on this guy.
Terrible, son.
And I took your word for it.
Wow.
I went against my better judgment.
Yeah, I don't know why. You should have took your better judgment, man. That was terrible.
And what happened?
He got completely worked over. You know the problem? Let me tell you what the problem with Fredrickson is. They rushed him. They 100% rushed him.
And he had to take that fight because if he didn't take that fight, who knows?
D-Style, you're still on that, my man?
No, because Jason's an idiot. Because Jason said
Gaddy's all right, well, we already solved it. He's still over here like spouting off. Like Gaddy's purse was 3.5. Okay, we got it.
No, he's not talking. He's not because Jason is saying that it was 50-50 split and it wasn't. He's not questioning. He's not going back at you. He's going back at Jason.
Oh, Jason's in there talking?
Yeah, Jason said that it was a 50-50 split, and I said it wasn't, and D-Style said it wasn't. Gotti made.
Oh, okay. I missed it.
No, he's not going at you. He's not going at you. This kid Jason, man, he's a Mayweather dick rider. Why don't you just put a saddle? Why don't you just put a saddle on Mayweather's dick so you can ride it?
Oh, stop it!
Why don't you just do that?
Stop it, Beeb. Come on.
Without Mayweather, Gotti wouldn't be on HBO. Oh, really?
Gotti was on HBO a bunch of times.
He was on HBO.
Like their fighter.
He was on HBO before Mayweather was. You goofball. This is what happens when you try to talk to someone who's 28 years old and lives in the basement. You can't. You don't have the credentials to debate with us.
Doesn't he? He lives in his parents' basement still, doesn't he?
Yeah, they threw him out though. Now he's in the fucking garage. Now he's in the garage. Jason, I told you there's a thing called Google. We all have it. We all have accessibility to it. So if you want me to send a tutorial over, send it to your email or text you a tutorial on how to do Google searches, then you won't look like an asshole every week. You won't look like a dope.
I think that's impossible.
He just says it was a 55-45 split. It's the same thing. Let me ask you this, Eric. If you had a choice to get 55% or 45%, what would you take?
I would take 55.
Oh, okay. Is that the same thing? Would you think that was the same thing?
I do not think that's the same thing.
Idiot. You know what? I'm an idiot for even arguing with the kid.
I wasn't going to say anything, but you and D. Sal are going back and forth with this guy. I'm like,
more of an idiot. I'm even more of an idiot. I'm going back and forth with this guy. I should be above this, but at this point, I'm going to be 51 years old in 5 months, and I'm debating a 26-year-old idiot. What's wrong with me? I should be committed.
All right, let's talk about the upcoming fights here. July 21st, Tuesday, Oscar Valdez versus Jason Velez, 10 rounds, junior lightweights. Another squash match here, Beeb. Edgar Berlanga versus Eric Moon, 8 rounds, middleweights. Don't know who they are. Kim Clavel versus Natalie Gonzalez, 8 rounds, women's light flyweights. Can't wait to not watch that one. Isaac Dogbay on the undercard versus Chris Avalos, 8 rounds, featherweights. Yeah, this is not good. This is not good. Let's take it forward to July 24th, Thursday. Virgil Ortiz versus Sammy Vargas on ESPN, 10 rounds welterweights. That should be another squash match. Beeb, what's going on with the schedule, man? The schedule's awful. Hector Tanajara versus Mercito Gesta, 10 rounds lightweights. Shane Mosley Jr. versus Jeremy Ramos. I'll be interested in that. 8 rounds middleweights. And yeah.
The one fight that I was really looking forward to this year, Teofimo Lopez versus Vasily Lomachenko. It was supposed to happen in September.
Yeah, it's moved to October, isn't it?
Now they're pushing it to October. Now, depending upon how this whole virus thing plays out, I hope that this doesn't get scrapped, because this is the one fight that I was really looking forward to. I'm actually want to bet on Teofimo, because he's probably going to be at least a 2-1, maybe 3-1 underdog in this fight. I think he's going to win. I think he's going to win. So I hope this fight happens.
Wheelchair Majan says he says that ESPN cards are boring. The better quality is needed. Listen, at this point, yeah, you've had enough. You've had enough leeway here. You had enough leeway here. It needs to get better.
They got to do something.
It needs to get better fast.
They got to. And here's the thing:
is this nonsense that they're putting on?
And here's the thing:
it ain't cutting it, man.
And here's the thing: if you're gonna have to put up some more money to make better fights, then take the L, because you have to make a decision. Do you want to have the ratings suffer, or do you want to make an investment like the UFC's doing? Do what the UFC's doing. Pay these guys, make it worth their while.
Yep.
And you're going to get a better product, and in the long run, people are going to tune in, because people aren't tuning in right now.
No, they're not. And
so pay guys like Crawford. Pay guys like Crawford.
And Jason says that PBC's returning to Fox on August 8th. Let me see what that card is. Let me see if it's listed. It's not even listed, son. August 1st or August 8th. I got nothing for August 8th. So, I mean, if it's listed or if it's scheduled, I'm not seeing it. Who's on that card?
He's just saying stuff without doing the research again. I mean,
yeah, because I don't see anything listed for him.
Again, GOOGLE. Use it.
Yep. There you go.
Just use it.
All right. Let's talk about our second train wreck of the week. Centurion Son asked me, who am I picking, Lopez or Loma? I'm taking Lomachenko in that one, man. I'm going to take Lomachenko in that one. It's a tough fight, though. I mean, that fight really could go either way. But I tell you what, man, Loma's got a way of just picking guys apart. And Lopez is good too, man. I don't know.
Loma's looked human a little bit. He's still
fighting bigger guys. Yeah, he's fighting bigger guys. He looks human.
I don't think he's a legitimate 135.
No.
I just don't.
He's moving up. Yeah, he's fighting when he fights bigger guys. And Teofimo's a big guy. Big guy for 135, and he can hit.
Teofimo's fast. He's explosive, and he can box a little bit too, man.
I think he can box a lot. I think he can box a lot, man. I don't know. He's pretty good.
He's like 5'5". Teofimo's like 5'9".
Yeah.
When Teofimo looks like a 140 pounder, 147 pounder come fight night.
Yeah. He's a big guy, man. It's a tough fight. I'm going to take Loma, but put it this way, I wouldn't put any money on him. Put it that way. That's one of those fights. Do you think, let me ask you this, do you think they're waiting till October for that fight because of they're trying to get a gate for it?
They're going to put it on pay-per-view, and maybe they're trying to figure out if they can have a live gate. So,
yeah, well, that's what I'm thinking. So, oh no. So listen, man, news and rumors here. Train wreck of the week. De La Hoya considering a comeback. He's 47, Beeb. Is he 47? De La Hoya is talking about a comeback at 154. He said he's training, blah, blah, blah. Looks like we got another Mayweather on our hands, man. Listen, man, De La Hoya is someone who's more interested in promoting himself rather than their actual fighters. Him and Mayweather both. They're both interested in promoting themselves, not their fighters. I don't understand. Put this energy into Ryan Garcia. Put this energy into Virgil Ortiz. Put this energy into Canelo. Put this energy somewhere else aside from you. Nobody cares. I mean, nobody, listen, man, you had your day. It's over now. All right, you're 47 years old. You're talking about going down to 100. What was the last fight? Pacquiao was his last fight, wasn't it? The Pacquiao fight, Beeb?
Yes.
When that his last fight? That was his last fight.
Yes.
What happened in that fight? He got pasted. He got pasted every single round. I couldn't give him 1 minute of any of those rounds. He got pasted, son. All right? Nothing doing. What do you think's going to happen this time? And I don't care who he fights. He's getting pasted. He's not going to be any better at 47 than he was back in the day at 25.
I gotta say one thing.
You only get worse.
I gotta say one thing. I don't wish bad on anybody. I'm not a sadistic person. But there's like two people in the sport of boxing that I don't hate anybody, but there's some people I don't like. De La Hoya is one of them, and Adrian Broner is the other. These are like the two fighters that they just rub me the wrong way, man.
What are you talking about? Adrian Broner? He's the one that made boxing. What are you talking about?
You like Broner because you met him and he was cool to you.
He's always cool to me.
Right?
You know who I am? Of course he's cool to me.
But the camera wasn't on. If the camera was on, he would have tried to act like a clown, and he would have tried to clown you because the camera would have been on.
Clown me? Are you kidding me? Bronner's a gentleman. Bronner is Titletown, as Centurion Son just said in the chat. That's right.
But De La Hoya,
De La Hoya is one of those ones. I'm with you. There's something about him I never liked.
He's just an unlikable guy, man. He's just, you know what it is? This gets used an awful lot. We always coin this phrase a lot. But he epitomizes this phrase. He is just so phony.
Yeah.
He's so phony. You see when he gets up and he talks about like a card that he's promoting and he's sitting there reading it word for word. Like he can't even come up with original thought. I think he's so coked out that his brain is fried right now.
Yeah. Listen, man. And again, your reflexes don't get better with age. Your reflexes get worse with age. Your stamina gets worse with age. Your skills get worse with age. I mean, it is, look, man, it is what it is,
It's just like we said last week. Yeah. We said this last week. Like, oh man, I'm in the gym every day. Okay. I go to the gym every day and I see people in the gym every day, but these motherfuckers can't go 12 rounds. All right. It's one thing doing a Jane Fonda workout at the gym every day.
Right.
And then thinking that, you can box. It's two different things.
Exactly.
It's two different things, man.
It's nuts. It's nuts, man. I don't get it.
One thing being in shape. Here's the thing. This is what people don't understand. And I'm not trying to say that I know more than anyone, but I'm just saying this. You hear people that they say, "Oh, I'm in good condition." Okay? I'm in good shape. It's one thing being when you're conditioned and you're in shape, you're conditioned and in shape to do a specific task. So that doesn't, like, even bodybuilders, any type of athlete, they can be in shape, they could be conditioned, but that doesn't mean you're healthy. Being in condition and being healthy are two different things. Because what these guys do and what they put their bodies through to be able to prepare themselves for their specific task, going 12 rounds and getting hit in the head like 500 times a night in a night. That's not an everyday occurrence that someone is supposed to endure. Okay. Now you could be in condition. You could run 10 miles a day or whatever. But again, you're not healthy. You may not be healthy. Your brain may not be healthy.
Yeah.
I was watching that video with Roy Jones. Remember I told you that thing with the chiropractor?
Yes.
You know how everyone was saying, oh, like Roy Jones just fell off like quick. He was like at the top, but then his decline was.
Yes.
But there was so many injuries. Like he was talking to the chiropractor and he's like, yeah, I tore my bicep tendon here. I tore my bicep tendon here. My other bicep tendon was turned here. I broke my wrist. I had my knee scoped. Like maybe his body broke down on him. Maybe it wasn't just that everyone was like, oh, he wasn't a guy that was technical. He was all athletic. Okay. So when you're an athletic guy, you're taxing your body even more than a guy who would be less athletic and a guy who would rely more on technique and, a guy that would lay back and try to counter and stuff. Like Roy Jones was an explosive guy. He was 0 to 100 every round.
Yeah.
And because of that, it taxed his body and his body broke down on him because of his style. So I didn't even know he had all those injuries. Did you know he tore his bicep? He had a messed up shoulder, had a broken wrist.
No,
had like a screwed up knee. I didn't know he had all those injuries. And then people say, why did Andre Ward retire? This was a guy that blew his ACL out, had a bad shoulder. This guy had back issues. This guy had a lot of injuries. Like your body just breaks down on you. So once again, you could be in good shape, you could be in good condition.
Yes.
But you can't. That doesn't mean your body is healthy.
Look, if you look at Andre Ward today, he still looks like he can go, but again, he's had a bad ACL, he messed up ACL, bad shoulder.
Listen,
he said it was time.
If you put these guys and you did like a body scan on these guys, right?
Yeah.
Gave them a CAT scan or whatever, right? And you just looked at them internally, okay? The amount of damage they have on their body would just be like off the charts. You know what I'm saying? So when someone says you're in good this guy's a well-conditioned athlete. Yeah, he's conditioned to perform that task.
Right.
That's what he's but that doesn't mean his body is healthy, because these guys are putting themselves under immense amount of stress that the body is not really supposed to be under. Two different things. Two different things.
And, and going back to De La Hoya, listen, man, I mean, you saw it in his last fight years and years ago against Pacquiao. And Pacquiao was a lighter guy. I mean, coming up and just demolished him. I mean, I didn't think Pacquiao was going to win that fight.
I
thought Oscar handpicked Pacquiao because he was a name and he was coming up in weight. He thought it'd be an exciting fight. He did not expect what he got that night. That's for sure.
You know what was crazy? Leading up to that fight, when the fight was first announced, I was like, oh, this is ridiculous. This is going to be a slaughter. Pacquiao's too small. But then I started, this is so stupid for me to say this because I know people get made fun of when they say this, because the 24/7 actually did influence me and made me change my mind the last week of the fight. When I saw De La Hoya all white, he was white.
Yeah.
He was emaciated. And not only that,
cut that weight. Yep.
And not only that, there was rumors that he was running and he had an IV. Like Freddie Roach said, I saw him running around a track. He had an IV stuck in him or whatever. And then he had his eye was all busted up from Edwin Valero.
Edwin Valero, my God.
That was a monster, but he's a small guy too. Yep. But he pieced up De La Hoya. So then I said to myself, something's not right, man. This guy don't look right. He looks white as a ghost. He's he's emaciated. Looks like death warmed over. Looked like someone put him in the like when a guy's like stranded on a desert island and he hasn't eaten for a month.
Yes,
he's like eating leaves and shit just to survive. That's
what volleyball.
That's what this dude looked like. That's what this dude looked like, man. And then Edwin Valero pieced him up, and they sent Edwin Valero home because he busted up his eye. He had like a fucking swollen black and blue eye. The week and a half before the fight.
Yeah. And they showed all this shit on 24/7. So the 24/7 made me say, you know what? Something's not right. I don't think he's going to win. And this was before, like I said, I mean, this was before the Pacquiao fight. And he's going to go back in his mind and say, I was drained for that fight, whatever. 154 is where I need to be. Yeah. Son, no. Don't do it, man. Don't do it. Don't do it. It's the best thing you could say. All right. So check this out. The story gets even deeper here.
Go ahead, man.
So this week, Jermell Charlo called out De La Hoya, offered him a title shot at 154.
Champion emeritus.
Offered him a title shot. 154. So do you think De La Hoya takes that fight?
No.
No way.
Never in a million.
No way.
Never in a million.
Never. He gets killed by Charlo. Now, back in the day when Oscar was, 24, 25, I think Oscar just demolishes Charlo. But now, way different story. Way different story. I didn't know Oscar used to promote Charlo.
All them PBC guys.
I don't remember that. Yeah, I don't remember that.
They were all promoted by Golden Boy, but they didn't have him on the contract, and then they all went. De La Hoya is a fucking knucklehead.
Speaking of knuckleheads, Keith Thurman this week. Listen, he always says some ridiculous things, but this is even by his standards, this is bizarre. He says that Errol Spence cannot leave the 147-pound division without giving him a title shot. Right. Because Keith was so anxious and willing to give Spence a title shot. Now that nobody, and I mean nobody, needs Keith Thurman anymore, now he wants to start calling people out. Come on, Keith, man. Come on. You're better than that. What are you doing?
Keith Thurman is the poster, is the definition and the poster boy for hypocrisy. He's sitting 100%. There. He's sitting there when he was the champ. Spence wanted to fight him. Oh, get a belt first. Then Spence gets a belt. Oh, you gotta make yourself a bigger name. Yeah. Then he fights Mikey Garcia, has a huge pay-per-view, fights in a huge stadium in front of a ton of people. Oh, well, I'm coming back off a long layoff. I need a couple fights first.
Fights.
So like, a laundry list of reasons. I'm not even going to say excuses because I'm not going to dump on anybody. These guys put their lives on the line, whatever. There was a laundry list of reasons before why he didn't fight Spence. But now that he doesn't have the belt, okay, now he's on the outside looking in. Now he wants to knock on the window and say, let me in. But when he was on the other side of that window and people were knocking on that window trying to get in, he had his hand on the door saying, no, you're not coming in here. So let's not be a hypocrite now.
Right.
And he never gave anybody, like Why didn't that fight with Sean Porter was razor close? You could argue that Sean Porter won that fight. I don't think he did. I
don't think he did either. I had it going back and forth, but I had Keith Thurman winning it just by one round.
Yeah, I had it like 115 and 113. It was a razor close fight. Yeah. You had Danny Garcia beating him.
Yeah.
And I had him beating Danny Garcia.
Yeah.
115 and 113. Both those guys had a strong argument that they should have got a rematch. And Keith Thurman never gave them a rematch.
It to him. Wouldn't give it to him.
Never.
He doesn't want to fight. He wants to stay relevant, but he doesn't want to fight.
So now he wants to cash out.
Yeah, that's exactly what he wants.
He wants to cash out. So
yeah.
Listen, these guys aren't going to do him any favors, man. After the way he acted when he had the title.
And they shouldn't. You know what? If I were Spence, I wouldn't give him a title shot. I wouldn't give him anything. And
then you sit there and he was sitting there talking trash about Pacquiao. I can't lose to a guy that got 9 losses. Really? If you fought if you fought the guys that he fought, you would have had 9 losses too.
Right.
Probably. Maybe.
Ridiculous, man. Just ridiculous talk.
Spence would have demolished him, in my opinion.
Spence would have knocked him out. I think
Spence would have undressed him. He would have took him apart.
Yeah,
man.
Yeah, he would have.
In my opinion.
All right, Beeb, you remember the pig farmer that had the allegations against Tyson Fury about the doping, and then they bought it from the cows, the
15 minutes of fame guy.
The 15 minutes of fame guy. Yep. According to the Daily Mail, the pig farmer who claimed he was offered 25,000 pounds to lie about Tyson Fury failed drug test has now dropped his allegations. Martin Carefoot told the Daily Mail that he's no longer cooperating in the investigation into Fury's positive test for nandrolone in February 2015. Beeb, was he lying? Did he get paid? Was he muscled? What happened? He just dropped it. That sounds like one of the mafia witnesses.
Listen, this guy has more stories than Walt Disney. Come on.
He's got a family, Beeb, and a farm.
$25,000 to lie. Like, come on, man. Come on. It was just so far-fetched right from the beginning. I
thought it was too, to be honest with you.
I didn't believe a word the guy said.
No.
So you're going to sit there. It wasn't a coincidence that you waited till Tyson Fury became champion and he was making all this money that you decided to come out and with these ridiculous claims. Then you wait. Like, how long did he sit on it for? Like, what, 3 years? So he knew for 3 years he owed him money, and then he waited 3 years to come collect. Come on.
Doesn't make sense.
Doesn't make sense.
So not cooperating. That's no witnesses. So Fury's off, man. So Sergey Derevyanchenko and Jamel Charlo close to fighting here. This close to being signed. From everything I'm reading, I don't think it has been signed yet, but it is very close to being signed. Interestingly enough, Derevyanchenko turned down a fight with Canelo Alvarez to take this one. So
why did that happen? What was his reason for turning down that fight?
I don't think he was going to get the kind of money. It goes back to, Golden Boy, when they talk about people fighting Canelo. Oscar De La Hoya put out some kind of thing this week saying, hey, unless you beat the champ, you're not going to make any money. But you have to beat the champ first before you make any real money. Son.
So what is De La Hoya? What is Golden Boy doing? Lowballing all these Canelo opponents?
That's what he's doing. Because Canelo take a pay cut because there's no crowd. And then so they're expecting these guys to take,
Can't be a coincidence. Billy Joe Saunders was complaining about the money he was offered.
All good fighters.
Now who's the other guy?
And Derevyanchenko, let me tell you what, Derevyanchenko is a live dog in that one. I like Canelo in that fight if they fought, but Derevyanchenko is no pushover.
I thought Derevyanchenko.
Him and Charlo, I think it's a good matchup for Charlo. I think that's a real good fight.
I thought Derevyanchenko clearly. I thought he beat.
Clear.
I thought it was a clear decision over Canelo. Not Canelo. I mean Golovkin over Golovkin.
Yeah.
Over Golovkin.
I did too. I thought he beat him. He beat him pretty easily, actually.
Yeah. I thought he beat Golovkin. Excuse me.
So now what are they doing? So Derevyanchenko is not going to fight him. Billy Joe Saunders is not going to fight Canelo. They're talking about
Callum Smith turned down the Canelo fight too. I heard
because they're not offering any money. There's no money to be made there.
So it's got to be it can't be a coincidence. It can't just be a coincidence that all these guys don't want to fight Canelo.
No, it's not like he's, like they're all scared of him, Jason Quigley may be the next in line to fight Canelo.
But listen, you can't be mad at Canelo. He's trying to fight these guys, No.
Well, no, I can't be mad at Canelo. You're right.
I'm not mad at Canelo.
I'm not mad at Canelo. I'm not mad because he doesn't negotiate.
Be mad.
He's not the one negotiating. I'm mad at Golden Boy.
Be mad at the goofball.
Yeah, for sure.
The guy that has to read a script every time he gets up on the podium.
So DAZN. So this is what DAZN's putting on for $20 a month. Ted Cheeseman and Sam Eggington, Canelo and Quigley, and again the Quigley fight's not, but that's the name being thrown around. Come on, man. Come on.
We always have this argument. How are you going to get a huge payday when they haven't made big money yet? Once again, we've been down this road before. Okay, I work at a company.
Yep.
I'm a guy that just was a regular worker. I get promoted to CEO. Now, am I going to get CEO money, or is the guy that promoted me going to say, well, you never made CEO money before, so you're going to still make the same money you made before doing your old job, but now you're going to do this other job that's harder with more responsibility, and everyone else that had this CEO job made a specific salary. But for some reason, we're just going to say you never made this money before, so we're not going to pay you what the job is worth. Right. If it's you pay a fighter what the fight is worth. You pay him commensurate of the worth of the fight.
Right.
Okay? So if he's fighting a guy that would generate a big payday, then he should get a big payday as well. No one's saying he has to get purse parity, but you can't pay someone the same they made for their other fights if they're fighting a bigger fight. Just like when you get promoted to another job, you never made the money that you're going to make that position garners, that position is worth. So obviously, it makes no sense.
We're going to make you CEO, but since you haven't been a CEO anymore, we're going to give you the mailroom with the mail. You
worked in the mailroom,
right?
And this is what you made as a mail clerk.
We're going to give you like a $5 boost.
Now we're promoting you to CEO,
right?
But we're still going to pay you the same that you made as a mail clerk
until you prove yourself.
Well, then why did you promote me if you didn't think I could do the job? You see, like you pay the person what the job is worth.
Right.
If the fight is worth $60 million, don't pay the guy as if the fight was worth $30 million.
Exactly. That's the point. I mean, that's the thing.
Like that's the stupidest excuse. It's the stupidest logic. Well, the guy never made. Well, because he never fought a Canelo before. And so of course he's not going to make what he would make to fight Canelo. It makes no sense. You can't make that comparison. It's a false equivalency.
Right.
Am I right?
You are. And I get it. I get the fact that, listen, I get the fact that, the climate is a little bit different now because you don't have a gate. Canelo's going to make less, which means you're going to make less. But you're lowballing these guys. If you're going to lowball these guys. So why in the world would these guys go out? Listen, they're not fighting you they're fighting you for the money.
Listen, here's the problem too. What did Kovalev make when he fought Canelo? And what did Danny Jacobs make? What did they get, like 10 million each? I know like Danny Jacobs got 10 million. I think Kovalev got 9 million.
Yeah.
So you can't offer Billy Joe Saunders, Callum Smith, and Dervinchenko. No, 5 million, 4 million. You can't offer them 4 or 5 million when you're offering everyone, the other two guys, 9 and 10 million. You just can't.
Yeah. Dwayne M says, ringside, he says, I'm ready to drop DAZN. I don't care to see Canelo and Triple G fight bums. I can see all their fights for free on the net. And you know what? He's right. He's 100% right.
People don't realize, and Eddie Hearn doesn't realize that even though, you got DAZN going on there, people can still stream those DAZN fights. And they still do stream those DAZN fights.
Sure they do. They do.
And no disrespect to Katie Taylor, but you got to give me something more than Katie Taylor versus Passoon,
I I mean, I want to see the fight. Is it worth $20? I mean,
I'll see the fight, but if that's all you're going to give me for the rest of the year, then I'm not gonna be happy.
Dwayne M says, in the case of Derevyanchenko, they'll never get a fair shot anyway. Listen, but you know what? That's the other thing. When you sign up to fight Canelo, going in, unless you knock him out, unless you even look, Triple G clearly decisioned him in that first fight. He didn't get the nod. It's going to be tough. You're fighting an uphill battle.
You're not fighting him. You're fighting the judges too.
Yeah. It used to be like, remember De La Hoya when he was in Las, it's tough to beat him over there because even if he loses, you're not going to get that decision. So I don't know. Some sad news to report this week. Travell Mazione died in a car accident this week. Travell was like an up-and-coming prospect, man. He was undefeated and tragically died in a car accident this weekend, man. So our thoughts are definitely with his family and everything like that. And man, I heard a lot of things about him. I'd never seen him, I had not heard of him until, this happened or whatever. But, after reading about him and everything, a lot of people had. And a lot of people said, yeah, this was a very good fighter, very good up-and-comer, man. And it's sad. From Texas. I believe he was from Texas, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. I think he was from Texas, somewhere in there.
Somewhere around there, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a shame. It's a shame, bro. It's a shame.
Yeah, it is.
Kid was young.
Salvador Sanchez. You remember Salvador Sanchez? Car accident.
Oh, yeah.
Cars, man. All right, Beeb. Your boy, Chavez Jr., has been suspended indefinitely. Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. has been suspended indefinitely by the Nevada State Athletic Commission, the Arizona Boxing and MMA Commission, due to his refusal to take a drug test prior to his December 20th bout against Danny Jacobs. Yeah. Okay. Well, Raphael Dawkins just brought it. Golden Boy is paying for Mazione's funeral.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
I read that. Yeah, I read that. Yeah,
I didn't know that.
That's a very good thing, man. Very good thing.
Shout out to Golden Boy.
Absolutely. We've been trashing them all show. They get good news. Hey, but we shout them out. There you
go.
Listen.
You do something good, we'll give you credit.
Tell you, we'll give you credit. Credit.
Bad people can still do good things. Remember Bronx Steel? You did a good thing for a bad man.
That's right.
Remember? There
you go.
A lot of people say that about me.
I don't think anybody says that about you. But Chavez Jr., back to Chavez Jr. and his illicit drug use. So he's suspended. Yeah, I mean, we kind of all expected this. I don't think it was anything worthy. I mean, he wasn't, and he's still not taking a drug test, so he's probably still hopped up on something, So
yeah, they're not gonna let you get away with that.
No. What are you gonna do? All right, let's go to the phones here real quick. 706, Jason, you're live.
What's up, guys?
Trump 2020, son.
Trump 2020, baby. Another 4 more years, baby.
MAGA, son.
4 more years. Those polls
country now, son.
Polls are fake. Those polls are fake. They're the left-leaning polls. Left-leaning fake polls. Left-leaning fake polls.
Right, son.
Fuck Trump. Fuck Trump and fuck the KKK. All day, every day.
You live in right in the middle of Klan country.
You live right in Klan country.
Look what
they're doing.
What does that
mean?
mean?
Georgia.
What does that mean, dude?
Means you're from Georgia, son.
What does that mean?
Look
where you live. Look where you live. Look at your governor.
You know how many black?
Yeah. What about your governor? You vote for him too?
All over the world live in Atlanta.
You vote for your governor too?
He's a moron. He's a moron like Trump.
Look at all the racism that goes on in your state. Look at you. You still drive the General Lee. You drive a car like the General Lee. You drive the General Lee with a Confederate flag on your hood. You drive a Confederate flag on your hood. I
will tell you, I don't mind the General Lee.
You disgrace.
Yeah.
You disgrace.
Stop filibustering.
Yeah.
Stop filibustering. Stop filibustering. Also,
you want to spell that?
Someone pulled out the thesaurus. Someone pulled out
the governor was like,
someone pulled out the thesaurus tonight. They pulled out the thesaurus tonight. Somebody did they? Someone used a big word.
What are you talking about, dude?
Go ahead.
Oh, come on. Beeb is like the governor. He was calling it a hoax like a fucking month ago. And Beeb was like, the corona will go away with the summer heat and shit. Like, not these fucking morons. They don't know anything. You can't listen to morons.
What's the death rate right now, Jason?
I mean, that's what happened. Like,
Jason, what's the death rate?
Jason,
what's the death rate?
1%.
Jason, what's the death rate?
Not even 1%, son.
Jason, what's the death rate?
It's very high. It's very high.
Very high.
Very high.
It's less than 1%.
150,000 dead Americans.
Yeah,
Beeb is laughing. Beeb thinks it's funny. Beeb thinks it's 150,000 dead are funny. Really nice, Beeb. That's really good.
Okay. Now we're gonna play the old shame
Really
game.
funny, Beeb.
Now we're gonna play
Really
the
funny,
shame
Beeb.
game. Oh,
Really funny, Beeb. Really funny, Beeb.
less than
150,000
1%.
graves.
Why don't you care? Why don't you care about the?
Funny.
Why don't you care about
Come
the?
on.
Why don't you care about the suicides? Why don't you care about?
150,000 fucking graves.
Why don't you care about the suicides? Why don't you care about the abuse? Why don't you care about the drunk driving? Why don't you care about the drug overdoses? Why don't you care about the people dying in Chicago? Why don't you talk about that? Why don't you talk about that? Because the mask. Because you know why? Because the mask is bullshit. Unless you have a sealed N95, you're not protected.
Don't wear it.
He ain't lying.
Don't wear it.
You don't have a sealed N95, you are not protected. Ask
Not protected at
anywhere.
all.
And guess what? You can't get it unless someone sneezes. Unless someone sneezes. Unless someone sneezes.
Don't wear it, dude.
Unless we have to wear it. We have to wear it because we live in the
Gotta wear it. We gotta wear it. I'm not trying to get in cuffs.
No, you don't. No, you
They'll
don't.
arrest us if we don't.
Hey, it is what
You
it
don't
is.
get cuffed. Nobody
But Dan,
cares
you're
about
lucky
that.
because you're down in Georgia. They don't have
Down
to
in
do anything
Georgia,
down
you
there.
don't have to
That's
wear
right.
it.
Dude,
You guys just fly
Ohio,
over the flag. That's all you gotta
we
do.
live in a
real state. We live in a real state. We live in real states. We live in real states with real laws. Your governor.
Why are you screaming, dude? Why are you screaming? Are you losing your mind?
Oh,
Why are you screaming? Are you
I'm
losing your mind? Come on.
I'm gone. Yeah, I lost everything.
Talk like a human being.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Talk
I'm
like a
sorry,
human
Jay.
being.
We'll let you go ahead. Go ahead, man. I'm sorry.
They
I
sealed
got
said,
that crazy.
in Ohio, I saw videos of hello. In Ohio, I saw videos of fucking like white supremacists beating up Black Lives Matter protesters, and cops are like protecting the fucking
but
race.
they're killing people
They're
in
not
your
gonna
state.
arrest them.
They're
Mike,
killing
come on,
people in
come
your
on.
state, though. Look at Aubrey. What happened to Aubrey over
Why are you
there?
screaming?
They're
Beeb, why are
killing
you
people
screaming,
over
dude?
there. Because
Beeb,
I'm
why are you
shocked.
screaming?
I'm shocked. Because I'm shocked.
You know,
Why are you
you know what we're gonna do?
I'm
You know what we're
shocked that
gonna
you
do?
don't even care about all these
Beeb,
these murders in your state.
Beeb, you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna send
care about all these
we're gonna
murders
send
in
in the
the
feds
state.
just like they
Right.
did in Portland over there. We're gonna send in the feds just like to straighten it out over there, just like we did in Portland.
His state's falling apart.
Just
He
like
lives-
we did in Portland, baby.
He drives the
Send 'em
General
in.
Lee.
The minivan
He's got a Confederate flag. He's got a Confederate flag on the hood of his car right now.
Yeah, that's how he does things. That's how he does things.
Really? Hood of the car?
That's how you
How do you
do
put
it.
a flag on the hood of your car? That makes no sense.
He's got it on the hood of his bus. He doesn't
That
drive a
makes no
car,
sense.
son.
The General Lee.
He takes the
General
bus.
Lee. The General Lee. Have you
Makes
seen the
no
General Lee? Dukes of
That
Hazzard?
makes no sense.
You ever watch Dukes of Hazzard?
I don't think you can put a flag on the hood of your car. I don't think you can do that.
You ever
That's
seen-
not allowed by law.
Sure you can.
Google the General. Google the General
You never saw
Lee.
the Dukes of Hazzard?
You ever saw
Oh,
Dukes of
Eric.
Hazzard?
Eric,
You never saw Dukes of Hazzard?
shut up, Eric. Dervin Checo never got the offer for a Canelo fight. They just said he was in the running. So don't say he turned the fucking fight down. He was never offered the fight.
That's what I
He's just
heard.
in the running like all these
That's
guys.
what I heard, son.
No, you didn't. You just made
What
that
I
up.
heard.
You just made that up.
That's what I heard.
That's not nice.
Georgia.
You're
That's
He
what I
supposed to be a
heard,
boxing
son.
show. No,
Georgia
that's
doesn't know
weird.
about it.
I forgot. Jason knows everything. I forgot. Just like Floyd was supposed to get 50-50 on that fight. Is that what you said?
Pig farmer. He don't know much.
You did. He pretty much did, right?
No, he didn't.
You did, right?
No, he
You
didn't.
pretty much did, right?
No, he didn't.
3.2 million, 3.2 and 3.5. That's like 48%. What are you
200,000, right?
200,000. That's
Well,
200,000.
if I said I'm going to take 200,000 more than you would, you don't care about
Who
that?
cares?
Shut up, son.
Were you wrong, Jason? Were you wrong? Jason, were you wrong?
Were you wrong?
Were you wrong?
Were you wrong?
And,
Were you
and he
wrong?
took Gaddy to the HBO pay-per-view. Gaddy's never been on HBO pay-per-view.
He can't admit
He needed Floyd to
it.
get
He
on
can't
pay-per-view.
admit it, son.
He won't admit he was wrong. He won't admit he was wrong.
Has Gaddy ever been on HBO pay-per-view before Floyd? I don't think so.
He won't admit he was wrong.
Jason, you're
How
a
come
sad
Gaddy
sack,
needed Floyd for
but we love you.
pay-per-view? What happened, man? Why
What?
though? Why did Gaddy need Floyd for a pay-per-view? How come you can sell pay-per-view without Floyd?
Who cares?
Gaddy's never been on pay-per-view without Floyd.
Well, if that's the
What do you mean,
case,
who
then
cares?
Floyd got
He's such a big
hosed.
star.
If that's
Why
the
didn't he
case,
do
then Floyd got
pay-per-view
hosed because he
without
got less money, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, then he got less money, right? Got less money.
Floyd was
He
never
needed
on
a
pay-per-view.
non-champion.
Floyd was never on pay-per-view.
Yeah, it is what it is.
Wow.
Pay-per-view before then
Wow.
either, though. Floyd was
Wow.
never on pay-per-view before then either.
Wow.
Floyd was never on pay-per-view before then either.
Wow.
Floyd was never on there before.
Of course he wasn't. He wasn't a champion, you moron. He wasn't a champion, you moron. He was like a 20-year-old kid, you fucking idiot.
Wasn't a champion,
Of course he
you
wasn't
fucking
on pay-per-view.
idiot.
He was like a 20-year-old kid.
Wasn't
How
a
would he be on
champion,
pay-per-view?
He wasn't a champion. He had 130 pound, 135 pound title. You fucking dope. You idiot. You idiot. Go back.
Jason, so Jason, let me ask you a question.
Go back and get your shine box.
Oh, come on, Beeb. That was ruthless. That was ruthless.
Wrong.
Beeb, come on.
Beeb is definitely triggered. Beeb is definitely triggered.
Go back to your lemonade stand.
Beeb is showing how low IQ he is. Beeb has to show how low IQ he is.
Go back to your lemonade stand. Go back to your
So Jason, let me ask you, Jason, why do you continuously flood our Twitter accounts with Trump stuff? He always sends us stuff saying what Trump did wrong.
Like every now and then I'll tag you.
Every now and then?
Every now and then?
What's every now and then to you? Every day, son.
Like every few days. Every few days.
No. It's not every few days.
I'm blanketed with Trump tweets.
2 days ago, I remember.
Today, yesterday, the day before that.
Jason, how old are you?
Yeah, I'm like.
Jason, how old are you?
2 days ago, I think I tagged you.
Jason, how old are you?
How old are you?
How old are you, Jason?
Like probably like half of Trump, half of Beeb's age. Just divide half Beeb's age.
How old are you? How old are you, Jason?
I said half your age, Beeb.
All right, so 25. So he's 25.
You're 25.
25. So do you find it hard to find like girls living in your parents' basement?
When you were a sperm cell in your daddy's nutsack, I was watching boxing when you weren't even born, and you want to debate me on boxing? When you squiggle through that hole in your daddy's rubber, right? you squiggle through that hole in your daddy's rubber, okay? I was like watching boxing for like 10 years already, 20 years.
Yeah, he's already been there, son.
And you want to debate?
You were watching Tyson beat up all those bums? You were watching Tyson beat up all those bums?
Well, he didn't fight the caliber of guys Deontay Wilder fought, of course.
Deontay Wilder,
he's fighting a shark this week.
Way better. He has a way better resume than
he's fighting a shark in a couple weeks.
I mean, Chavez Senior. Let's not even go to Chavez Senior. That guy fought like fucking cab drivers from Tijuana.
Yeah, he didn't fight anybody. He didn't fight nobody.
He didn't fight anybody. Again,
he didn't fight anybody.
Not for the first 80.
Again, when you were squiggling through that hole, okay? You were squiggling through that hole, right? Through your daddy's rubber, okay? We were watching these fights live. You fucking Google them.
Yep.
We were watching them live, okay?
Live,
Google
son.
What are you talking about?
Get a speaking spell, man.
He doesn't get it. He's from Georgia, Beeb. You got to dumb it down for him.
He's from Georgia, man. He's from Georgia.
You got to dumb it down for him, son.
Cable TV, Jason?
Yeah, Ohio is such a genius.
You got to dumb it down for him,
Actually,
son.
Boston's better than Ohio. I have to admit that. Boston's better than Ohio. I have to admit that.
Boston's better than Georgia.
But why is JC the triple chin? Boston's better than Ohio. I don't know about Georgia, but why is JC the triple chin crying in the chat? What's going on with him? Like his triple chin is so big it fucking hangs onto his belly. He needs to calm down.
What's he talking about?
To get on that fucking treadmill.
We had you with the buck teeth. You dental floss with a jump rope. This kid dental flosses with a jump rope. He's got like 3 teeth in his mouth.
Weekend could do a fucking jump rope with a triple chin. Dude.
You remember that picture? Remember his Facebook picture when he's sitting there by that plane?
He had the green screen. He had the green screen of a poster of a plane, pretending like he owned the plane. Then he had those.
He had that jumpsuit on. He had that jumpsuit on like he was a pilot or something like that.
He had the Oshkosh Bagosh fucking leggings on. Remember? He looked like fucking inbred jet. He looked like inbred jet. Like fucking Beverly. He looked like the dude from the Beverly Hillbillies.
Even so bitter.
The big bucktooth smile.
Fucking Beeb is a 6-year-old virgin.
Fucking guy dental flosses with a jump rope, man. He got 3 teeth in his mouth.
So Jason, are you wearing a mask?
Jason, you wearing your mask right now, Jason?
No.
Fucking hypocrite.
But why are you guys wearing that?
Strap up.
We're wearing that.
Eric, are you sending your kids out without mask?
Nothing.
Eric, are you sending your kids out without mask?
Don't worry about it, son. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
Right.
Worry about what we do.
You probably got shields for your whole family.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
For the whole family, I know.
Doesn't matter. Your boy's over there suing people. All right. Did you have any boxing to discuss?
Yeah, man. What do you guys think about Charlo versus Chenko? What do you think?
We like it. We already said we liked it.
Great fight.
Yeah.
Also, August. Go ahead.
I was finished.
Go ahead. You got the floor. You got
Beaver's
the floor.
got
Now you stuttering. You got the floor. Now you stuttering. Come on.
You're about to cry. I know you're about to go running screaming. Go ahead.
Yeah, we're broken up over here, man. We're broken up. We're real broken up.
I gotta take my antidepressants. I'm so fucking depressed right now. I'm suicidal. Let me,
Go ahead, go take them.
Lois, give me my phone. I gotta call the suicide hotline. This kid. I mean, I'm so distraught because I'm talking to a 25-year-old idiot right now.
Yeah, so distraught. We got to go take some Prozac after this one, man.
Prozac, man. I'm
gotta get some lithium.
What do you think about? Hey, what do you guys think about? Hey, Eric.
What
do you guys think about Tucker Carlson's head writer being exposed as like a KKK member? Pretty much. What do you guys think about that?
About Tucker Carlson's head writer being exposed? I think it's fake news.
It's fake news, like you.
It's fake news, son.
What do you mean fake news?
It's fake news. He's not a KKK guy.
What do you mean fake news?
He wasn't a KKK guy.
What do you mean? Did you?
Yeah.
Did you read what he
news,
said?
son.
Did you read what he? What?
It's fake news. Hey, let's talk about my man Roger Stone being free. How about that? Huh? Free as a bird now, Beeb. My man Trump. My man Trump got my man Roger Stone out.
He just called somebody the N-word today. He just called.
What did he say? What did he say? What did he say?
He said.
Called him the N-word.
Did you hear the audio?
He slipped up. He didn't say.
The best part about the audio was right after he said it. This idiot, like the guy's talking to him, and he's not saying anything. Like he hung up, and you can still hear like background noise.
He's an idiot. Oh, he fucked up big time, bro. He fucked up big time.
He didn't fuck up, dude. That's not called fucking up. That's called showing your true self. That's not called fucking up.
Yeah, you don't. That's not really a word that just slips, right? I mean, that's not really a word that just slips. No, I mean, yeah, he just like.
Beeb has always got excuses for the right wing racists. Beeb always has excuses ready for the right wing racists. Always, like Trump, you know. Always.
Where you live, Jason?
You
live right in the heart of it all. You live right in the heart of it all.
That makes no sense. He has no argument, dude.
And you brag about it. You brag about
it. We live in America, Beeb. We live in America.
You live in the most racist state.
You know how America was
founded. Look what they do in your state.
Yep. Your governor could care less about you, son.
Your governor, bro.
Your governor could care less about you, son.
You know how America was founded? America was founded
not in Georgia.
I mean, we're in America. You're talking about Georgia.
Not in Georgia, son.
Calm down. We're talking.
You live in the most. I was in the military. I was in the military. I trained in Fort Gordon, Georgia. That is the most racist.
Yeah, there's a black mayor here.
That is the most racist state I've ever seen in my life, Georgia. Okay? Racist.
Steve, you were like fucking in the 1970s. I'm like fucking, dude, we're in 2020 now. You were in there in 1980. You're fucking idiot. What are you talking about in 1980s?
And it's worse.
You need to grow up, dude. You need to get out of the 1980s. We're in 2020 now.
Look at my mayor. My mayor, look at the city hall. My mayor put a Black Lives Matter sign on City Hall.
Dude, Beeb says
your mayor, look what he's doing down there. Look what your mayor's doing. He's suing everyone in sight.
All right, Jason, we're going to get running, man. Trump 2020. All right, D style.
Racist state in the union, Georgia.
Well, I'm in Texas, so I don't know. How's it going, guys?
What's happening? Yeah, but you're in El Paso, so it's all good.
Texas is the shit, baby.
Yeah, I'm in El Paso. By the way, Democratic-run city and the safest fucking city in the world. Primarily Hispanic, all right? That's what I'm talking about.
Right across from the murder capital of the world, Juarez.
And all that. Well, we're right next to that. That's true. You know what I mean? But that's even then, bro. Even then. But,
even then, that's still pretty good.
Hey, that is pretty good. But check it out, man. I just want to clarify something. I know there's a lot of hyperbole being said and all that. The mask is not to defend you from COVID. It's so you don't spread COVID to others.
Right.
That's number one.
No mask is going to protect you. Yeah, I don't even think those N95 masks would protect you from it. I don't know.
Well, they have to wear a shield.
Yeah, it's not, so I just want to clear up, but there is an importance in having it so you don't spread it to somebody else.
Correct.
Right.
Correct.
So I just want to clear that out, just FYI. But with all that said, man, well, why y'all hating Mikaela Mayer, man, I think she looked good, bro. I think she looked good. She was popping the 1-2, and she's been following me on Twitter since 2010, so I got her rep 100%. You know what I mean?
Can you get her on the show for us? I'll pay you a finder's fee.
Well, she's following me too, but she ever since she became big time, you know, now that she's main eventing on Top Rank, she had a response and no tweet. So I got
she dumped you. She gave big time and dumped you, man.
Now, like she ain't responding to D-style boxing, but
that's cold.
I'll see about that, man. But
tell her we had Christine.
I do have a serious question though, in all seriousness, in regards to that fight, and just
we had Christina Hammer on here.
Yeah, we had Hammer on here.
Christina Hammer on here. Tell her.
Beeb went out with her. I heard. That's what I heard. I heard Beeb went out with her. Beeb won't ever tell me. But Beeb, I heard you went out with her. Is that accurate?
It's like he walked outside at the same time she walked outside. That's what it means. You went out. That's the closest. But hey, what do you guys think, man? I think it's 2020. Like all these changes are taking place, yet they're still doing this thing where they're only having women box 2 minutes.
I hate it.
All right.
Hate it.
I think it's one of the most disrespectful things. Not even the UFC cuts minutes from the women.
Well, that's why women can main event over there. I mean, that's why women main event over there, because it's the same rules as the men. They put the same amount of marketing into the women as they do in the men. That's why. I mean, that's why they can do what they do. Boxing doesn't, you know. And I really didn't care for the Mikaela Mayer fight. Not that she didn't look good. She looked all right. But, I mean, look who she was fighting. She was supposed to be, you know, there was no hype around it. There was no, you know, I don't know. It was silly for them to call it the first main event in Top Rank history. To me, it was just silly because it was main event by default.
That's like, you know, that's like when you win a trophy.
Yeah, the winning team didn't show up, so you get this.
The other team didn't show up, so you won the title.
Right.
You know the best part though, like they wouldn't stop patting themselves in the back about it, like the whole time,
which is the worst. Which is the worst.
Like stop patting yourselves in the back about it. You know what I mean?
Right.
The funny part is even Mikaela Mayer herself even said, I could fight better opponents than this. She said it in the post-fight, you know, and I think that's a good attitude. And
that's a great attitude.
Look, is she as good as Katie Taylor? No. You know what I mean? Like, she's not as good as Thursday Shields. But I think she's she has to prove it still, but I think she'll be like a top 5 female fighter in the world, I think. I think she's going to be one of the top.
Really?
You know, in my opinion.
Well, you may be right, because there's not a lot of talent. I hate to say it, but there's not a shitload of talent in the female boxing.
You know what though? Claudio just said that in the chat. He said there's more female talent in MMA than boxing, but is there? I mean, let's think about this for a minute. Is there? It's promoted better in MMA, and you know people's names in MMA versus boxing. I think it may just be promoted better. I'm not sure that they're better athletes or better talent or anything like that. I mean, there's a big pool in boxing as well. We just don't hear about them all the time. I don't know.
Absolutely. Yeah, but that's what I had in mind, man. Put them 3 minutes around, for God's sake.
Yeah,
I mean, this 2 minute thing is honestly annoying, and we're kind of programmed for 3 minutes. Like it always feels like the round ended too early when you're watching a women's fight, and it is getting annoying. So those are my thoughts, guys. Good show. I got to run.
All right, D-Style. Thanks so much for calling in, man. Claudio Monreal says, I see Mayer with Gabe Rosado at my job. He might be hitting that. Oh, my goodness. Oh, Lord. On that note, that'll do it for this edition of Ringside Reporter. As always, you can catch Joe Habib on Twitter at jhabib1 and find our YouTube channel at ringsidereporterlive.com. On Twitter, you can catch me at ringside73, and we will see you next week.